From the silent dunes of the Sahara to the rising towers of Tripoli, one man reshaped Libya with oil, ambition, and iron rule. In 1969, a 27-year-old army officer led a bloodless coup that stunned the Arab world. His name, Colonel Mummah Gaddafi, black gold and power. Gaddafi's first act was to reclaim Libya's greatest treasure, oil. He forced Western oil giants to the table, then nationalized the industry. Suddenly, billions of dollars flowed into Libyan hands, and Gaddafi had the wealth to transform the nation. From sand to steel, highways cut through desert plains, new homes, schools, and hospitals replaced tents and slums. And in the heart of the Sahara, the Great Man-Made River Project was born, a water pipeline so massive, it became the largest irrigation system in human history. Health and education for all. Education became free. Healthcare a right. Under Gaddafi, literacy soared from under 25% to over 80%. Life expectancy increased by more than 20 years. For many, Libya was rising, the people's Jamahiriya. Gaddafi's vision was unique, a state of the masses, ruled not by politicians, but by the people themselves. No parties, no parliament, only people's congresses, and Gaddafi's Green Book. But behind the system, the power remained his. Dissenters were silenced, and opposition erased. Gaddafi and the world. He sought more than national power. He wanted continental influence. He turned from Arab unity to African leadership. He proposed a United States of Africa, funded liberation armies, and invested billions into African infrastructure and banks, repression and isolation. But progress came at a cost. Free speech vanished. Libya became a closed state, accused of terrorism, sanctioned by the West, and feared by its own. The fall. In 2011, as the Arab Spring swept the region, Libya rose. Protests turned to armed revolt. NATO stepped in, and after 42 years in power, Gaddafi was captured and killed. Final reflection. Gaddafi built a modern Libya, paved roads, fresh water, and free education. He raised living standards across the nation. But his rule came at the cost of freedom, and eventually, stability. Today, Libya stands fractured, but his legacy, for better and worse, still runs deep. This was the rise and the reckoning of a man who built a nation in his image and paid the price for absolute control. In October 2011, the world watched as Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi was captured and killed by rebel forces. After 42 years of authoritarian rule, many believed Libya stood on the brink of a new democratic dawn. But what followed was far from the freedom its people had hoped for. In the power vacuum left behind, chaos surged, institutions collapsed, armed groups multiplied, and a country rich in oil, history, and potential descended into political fragmentation and civil war. From 2011 to the present day, Libya has been a land divided, east against west, tribe against tribe, militias versus governments. The promise of democracy gave way to a grim reality. Two rival governments, backed by foreign powers, each claiming legitimacy. Ordinary Libyans have paid the highest price. Amid fuel shortages, economic collapse, and waves of displacement, many have lost hope. Yet some still fight, not with weapons, but with words, education, and the vision of a better future. Youth-led movements are pushing back against the legacy of dictatorship. Women demand a voice. Elections, though delayed and disputed, show flickers of civic engagement. But is it enough to overcome the deep scars of civil war and decades of fear? Foreign intervention has complicated Libya's road to peace. USA, United Kingdom, Europe, and NATO, each with its own stake in Libya's future. For some, it's a geopolitical chessboard. For Libyans, it's survival. Libya has also become a tragic hub for human trafficking and migration. Thousands pass through its porous borders, fleeing poverty and violence, only to face new horrors along the way. In 2020, a fragile ceasefire was signed. The United Nations called it a breakthrough. For a moment there was hope, unity, elections, and reconciliation. But that hope remains hostage to mistrust, corruption, and unresolved rivalries. 10 years after Gaddafi, Libya is a nation still searching for its soul. Its people are weary, but not broken. Their resilience is remarkable, and their story still being written. This is Libya after Gaddafi, a land haunted by its past, shaped by its present, and uncertain of its future. The world may have moved on, but Libya's fight for peace is far from over.